May primary?
Well, I have good experience that will prepare me well for leading Indiana in a different direction on economic growth and development. And I think you're probably very familiar with the numbers that personal income dropped in Indiana again last year. We have a high school dropout rate that continues to increase, one of 3 states in the country where that's the case. And as you know, I was Undersecretary for Rural Development at the United States Department of Agriculture, where I had responsibility for an annual budget of $10 billion and 7,000 employees. And also I have an MBA and a PhD in business from Indiana University. I also have a very good record on tax policy as a member of Congress, where I served 3 terms. I never once voted to raise taxes, and that contrasts significantly with my primary opponent, who is an architect who designs public schools and regularly lobbies local school boards and the Indiana School Property Tax Control Board in favor of higher property taxes. At a time when many homeowners are facing difficult tax bills, I think it's very important for us to have a candidate who not only has a good record on economic growth and development, but also a good, strong record on not increasing taxes.
Do you think that the 2008 presidential race is overshadowing the governor's race, which is, some might say, even more important to the Hoosiers because it's more local government?
I don't think there's any question that the presidential primary that has come to Indiana, and Hoosiers are going to have a say in who the Democratic nominee is, that is having an impact on the attention of voters as well as of the media. But I am traveling around the state virtually every day, and Hoosiers are very engaged in the governor's race, and I also very concerned about the state's economy, and I think my record on economic growth and development and my leadership experience, I think it's being very well received. The number one issue that I'm hearing from voters is a concern about the economic future of Indiana.
A lot of the factories seem to be shipping up and going overseas. What kind of jobs do you think that you can bring to Indiana that will actually stay here?
I think we ought to be looking for jobs of the future and jobs that pay well. For example, the renewable energy and energy efficiency field. And I'm not talking just ethanol plants and biodiesel, or soy diesel, although those are a part of it, but the energy efficiency technology, as that is developed, we need to be marketing that technology from Indiana. And I think that that, as well as the biosciences, are perfect areas for us. We have wonderful colleges and universities in Indiana with tremendous research, and we need to be taking advantage of that research and working to market that technology here.
Are you pro or against ethanol?
I am a very strong proponent of ethanol. My husband and I are corn farmers, and we also grow soybeans. And ethanol is a part of the solution to becoming energy independent here in the United States.
Do you think it attributes to the rise in food costs?
I think that what is contributing to the high food costs is the high cost of oil. When we have gasoline prices approaching $4 a gallon, that's impacting everything from transportation of the raw commodity to a processing facility, and then from the processing facility to the grocery store shelves. That's what's contributing to high food prices.
What is your stance on education, and how would you change the system so less are dropping out and more are continuing to stay here in Indiana or not hitting the streets?
I think there are 2 things that we need to do. One is to increase our flexibility of our own policy in Indiana so that teachers and schools have more flexibility to address the individual needs of the students who are coming into the classroom. But we also need to reinvest in vocational education. The case studies show that when you have a strong vocational education program, more students graduate from high school, but they also graduate ready to enter the workplace. Let me also say, as governor, I will be a leader on reforming No Child Left Behind, because that legislation is frankly leaving too many children behind, taking away the flexibility that states need to put together the best education policies for their students.
What do you say to the thousands of Hoosiers that don't have health care, and how could you possibly get them health care if you were elected?
We need health care policy reform in Indiana, and in particular we need to make it possible for everybody to pool small and medium-sized businesses and individuals. The price of your health insurance premium should not be determined by the size of your employer or the size of your business, and we all ought to be able to pool to purchase health insurance at the same rates that the large corporations get, but also comparable to what members of Congress are able to purchase health insurance, those rates. Just because you work for a small company or you're self-employed doesn't mean that your health insurance should be higher. In fact, it shouldn't be.